She has every month.
She's at the
Excalibur.
Excalibur. I was gonna say the Pyramid Hotel, but it's the
Yeah.
Excalibur.
Every month, and that's
She does
why
a live show.
that's why she's discontinuing her tours. She's getting to the age now where you can come to her instead of her coming to you.
Does she have a phone number?
Yes, she does. If you need to get in contact with the Sylvia Browne Corporation, you can contact 408-379-7070. She offers the only certified hypnosis training course in the whole entire country.
Right. How do I make donations to Nova Spirituous, which is Sylvia's
Church.
religious group?
Yes, nonprofit. For more information on Nova Spirituous, you may donate to the spirit community by calling this number, 408-376-2126.
What's the number again?
408-376-2126. And just so everybody knows, there's so much involved in the Nova Spirituous. Coming soon will be an entire episode on just the Nova Spirituous. Not Sylvia Browne specifically, but the Nova Spirituous.
Right. What is her title?
She is self-proclaimed psychic and medium.
Right. What are the names of her children?
Christopher and Paul.
Does Sylvia have any shows?
Yes, Sylvia can be found on HeyHouseRadio.com, where she has the Ask Sylvia. It's an hour question and answer show. She also has a monthly webcast. She calls them web classes, and that can be found at www.spiritnow.com.
Right. When and who did Sylvia marry?
Okay, well that question's a little weird, but her first real marriage was to Gary in April 1959, and they divorced in 1972. And his name was Gary Dufresne, and he was a police officer.
You were just telling me that wasn't her first husband. Her first husband
Yes.
was a 16-year-old boy, and she was 16.
Yeah, well, this was actually her second husband. And the Adventures of a Psychic, she actually talks about her first husband, which the marriage was annulled. So Gary, who is the father of her two sons, Christopher and Paul.
Which is Brown?
No, Dufresne.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
All right, well, that goes to the next question. How did Sylvia get the name Brown?
Okay. After 1972, somewhere after 1972, Sylvia married Kenzel, don't know how to say that middle name, Brown, and this was her third husband. She added the E to the end of the name when they became divorced. So for a while, Sylvia Browne was known as Sylvia Browne, B-R-O-W-N. And some of her stuff is out there as Sylvia, B-R-O-W-N.
Yeah, she has over 50 books at the moment right
And
now.
some of them have an E. Now, if you go
She's got the Guinness Book of World Records, or more books out now than Stephen King.
Yeah. Well, thank you for adding that little tidbit. She just beat Stephen King for the most books.
All right, who was Sylvia Browne's fourth husband?
Fourth, Larry Lee Beck.
When did she marry Larry?
September 11th, 1994. So somewhere in between 1972, she married Kenzel, or picked up the Brown name, and divorced him before 1994, where she married Larry Lee Beck.
All right, who is Sylvia's current husband?
His name is Michael. Now, I know his last name. I have it somewhere. I couldn't find it. I don't remember it. But
who is Michael?
Yeah, Michael. Okay, Sylvia and her current husband, they're not actually legally married in the state of California. But on February 14th, Valentine's Day, they had a spiritual union. Sylvia Browne believes that this is going to become the more thing to do. To get a marriage back to spirituality.
Well, they say that
and back with God,
with one or more gathering in His name,
and get government out of the marriage, and get pretty much like Sylvia would say, get the government out of the bedroom. And the spiritual unions would is going to become more popular. So a spiritual union between her and Michael was on Valentine's Day, February 14, 2009. And Michael is a retired jeweler. She met Michael.
Well, that explains all her nice bling.
Yeah, well, there's a new Sylvia Browne jewelry line. I don't think we've ever looked at it.
No.
He's always at all her lectures, and I hear that his jewelry is extremely reasonably priced. So we'll have to see that in February. I mean, in June when we go to see him.
Does Sylvia endorse any other psychic?
No, she only endorses her son, who is also a psychic, and he has been working with her for over 20 years.
He's partnered with her in several of her books.
And his name is Christopher. Real quick, going back to Michael, the story of Michael is an interesting story because Sylvia was just found out that the Montel Williams show was being canceled, and she was beginning to become very, very depressed at the fact that their 16-year relationship was coming to an end. When she noticed that she was having vision problems in her right eye. She goes to the doctor, and the doctor checks her out and diagnoses her that she is legally blind in her right eye. She cannot see out of her right eye. They don't know why, what the reason was. So Chris decided that he wanted to do something nice for her. So he walked across the street with Sylvia and went into a jewelry store. It just so happened that Michael was sitting behind the counter watching the store for his son, who was on lunch break, and Michael was retired, and that's when Sylvia and Michael met for the first time. She says it as that day, and it's a bittersweet day in the fact that she diagnosed that she was blind in one eye, but she also found a new true love.
All right. How many ministers are in the Novus Spirituis?
Right now there are 40 ministers in the Novus Spirituis.
All right. What religion is the Novus Spirituis? What does Novus stand for?
Okay. There's a whole paragraph here. I don't want to get it wrong since it's kind of complicated. Gnostic Christians. It states that it follows the same traditions and teachings which Jesus himself followed, yet does not exclude Buddhism, Judah, Islam, or Hindu.
Gnostic, by the way, means knowledge.
The society teaches the biblical works of Jesus Christ while also incorporating the Gnostic Gospels of the Gospels of Mary of Magdalene, and says that while the Bible is a marvelous book and should be used as a teaching tool, it is not the unaltered Word of God.
All right. What is one of Sylvia's paranormal claims?
Sylvia says she knows what heaven is like.
All right. Next question. What is heaven like?
Okay, according to Sylvia Browne, in her book The Other Side and Back, Sylvia says the temperature is a constant 78 degrees. There are no insects, except for the insects that come to illuminate the trees at Christmas time. And those are a butterfly, illuminating butterfly.
Right.
Unless you want there to be. The pets go to heaven, and that anyone can build anyone's house. They can have a house if you want. You don't have to have a house. You don't need to sleep. You can sleep if you want.
In other words,
You can
she
eat.
believes that heaven is what you make of it.
Yes. Okay.
And what does she call heaven?
The other side.